11 years of marriage. These are the 11 things that I have learned in my 11 years of marriage. Um, this might not align with a lot of people, so if it's not for you, you can just scroll. If you want to watch, you can pick the few things that you think might align with your marriage, and good luck to us. Number one, anything that a peaceful conversation or peaceful dialogue cannot solve, fighting or shouting or quarreling will not solve it. And I know people often tell you, if he doesn't do this thing, shout at him, drag him. When you drag him, he'll do the right thing. Let me tell you, dragging doesn't, it just makes matters worse. It makes both of you hostile towards each other. So the key is peaceful dialogue. Secondly, you see this talk about his money is our money, my money is my money. I get it. Especially me, I'm a Muslim. Islam talks about that, how you have to take care of your wife and all that. But what I am saying is, it would be nice for you as a spouse, as a woman, that before your husband is around and something happens, there's an emergency or something, you've already taken care of it. But sometimes some of us have this bad habit of saying everything has to be his money. Even if I'm working, it's my money. I have to do it for myself. But anything that has to do with the kids, I'm not going to do it. I'll wait for him to bring the money. Marriage is a partnership. We help each other. The aim is to grow together. And that whole issue of my 1 naira must not enter his hand is not fair as far as I'm concerned. And it has worked for me. So it's something that I feel should be looked into. 3, saying sorry the right way. You see, there's no word that people feel so big to say like this sorry of a thing. Now, that aside, saying it the right way is another thing. There will be an issue and they'll be like, you cannot apologize. Sorry, no verse, yeah. That will just trigger your partner. It will just trigger the person. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it that way. No matter how that person they vex, like it will just break down the walls, and then before you know it, a peaceful conversation will start. But that's sorry, no verse, you're just adding to it. You're not saying sorry, you're just saying sorry for the saying of it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's not it. Number 4, if you're married to a military personnel or a uniform personnel, any form of uniform job, those people are so indulged in their jobs that they forget to buy clothes for themselves. They forget to buy shoes. Like, they legit forget it. It's time for them to go for like a function and be like, oh man, I no get blazer, I no get shoe, I no get this. So if you're thinking about what to do to make them like a gift, what you should do is once in a while, maybe twice in a year, just buy so fine kaftans, shoes, vests, boxers, those stuff. Like, it's a really good, lovely gesture. So look into it. Again, don't involve yourself in a fight that has happened between your spouse and his siblings. Let me tell you, the matter no concern you. Allow them to carry am. It no concern you. It has nothing to do with you. All you need to do as a wife, a spouse, is just calm down. You can give examples of how you had issue with your sister and but it has been sorted out. But the last thing you want to do is, even that day people were fighting, I saw him and you. Who asked you? Waiting concern you. Come on your mouth for there. Number 6, be careful who you vent to. Husband and wife will always have a problem. I mean, you have issues with your parents. Sometimes you have issues with your siblings. You have issues with your children. So, and at the heat of the moment, sometimes like you say a lot of things that you said out of anger, but you don't mean it. But the biggest mistake you're going to do is to vent to the wrong people. After your eye don't clear, the issue has been sorted out, then that person will now stickily go and tell your partner that this is what she said, forgetting that you were angry and you didn't actually mean it. So be careful of the kind of things that you're going to vent, the people you're going to vent to. That thing is a killer. Number 7, don't disvalue your spouse on social media. There's this bad habit. Of recent, I saw one challenge that they were doing, and people were legit saying very distasteful things about their spouses. You guys forget that this is social media, and somebody out there will use it to disrespect your spouse. And the funny thing is, when they're disrespecting your spouse, the thing will pain you. You don't forget saying that you carry your hand and go post them. If you're going to post your spouses, post them in a positive light. The negative light, it doesn't make sense, please. Like, we need to work on that. Stop it, I beg. Number 8, not everything is a joke. Yes. And you need to know the times to joke with your spouse. Like, let's say, for example, your spouse comes home and tells you, one of my colleagues in the office had an accident. And the first thing you say is, I'm just imagining how the guy is going to be walking. Like, people don't know the right time to joke. So when there is a touchy situation and he is discussing it to you, the last thing you want to do is to make a joke out of it. Just, be polite, show concern, and that, I feel, that's the right thing to do, marriage wise or not marriage wise. Like, the last thing you want to do is to make jokes with serious situations. One thing women need to stop joking about is stop being mean to his colleagues. Apart from staying with you all the time, the other people that your spouse stays all the time with is his colleagues. The last thing you want to do is to be mean to them. Those people have like a shareholder to some level, like they have some sort of say. Not that they have a say completely per se, but you see those little chipping in of talks that will be done. I would advise that you should be on the right side, on the good side of your husband's colleagues. Like, that's a very important one. Number 10, don't judge people that are divorced. You see, we make the mistake of assuming because your own marriage is working, you assume that people that are divorced didn't put in the work. Most times, that's not the case. You see, the most people that are divorced, then, if God put you through what they had to deal with, you're likely not going to survive it. So sometimes marriages happen and it feels some people are just not compatible and it just does not work out. So the last thing you want to do as a person is judge people that are divorced because you feel like your own has worked and they didn't put in the work. Most people actually put in every strength that they have in their marriage. It just didn't work. So the last thing you want to do is going about carrying your shoulder with shoulder pads and thinking that you're the best thing after jollof rice. Life does not work that way. Number 11, say a prayer for me and my spouse. Say a prayer for every married couple out there, and put your own advice as a number 11. Thank you so much for listening to my shenanigans, and bye. See you next year.